Hello and welcome everyone to Games Unplugged. I am your host, Connor, and with me I have two very special guests, and I will allow them to introduce themselves this evening. Who wants to go first?
I will, since I was with you last time, Connor, and yes, I am Drew, and I am back again.
Alright, and our third guest? Please announce yourself.
Your third guest today is Liam.
Awesome. And like as always, we will not be announcing our last names to keep our identity secret. So today we're going to be talking about Pokemon. Now, before anybody groans, we're going to be talking about Pokemon origins. More specifically, Pokemon who have so many different kinds of interesting ideas how they were made, or this is why they're this typing, or this is why they get this many Mega Evolutions while this one doesn't. I'm looking at you, Charizard. Okay, so who wants to start us off on their favorite Pokemon theory?
Well, I guess I'll start with what's the deal with Magikarp becoming Gyarados, I guess.
Okay.
Now a lot of people are confused about what happened with Magikarp because Magikarp is just a small little Clarkfish who can't do anything. And then basically when he gets to level 30, I believe it is.
20.
20? Okay, thank you. I'm a bit rusty with points of evolution for that Pokemon. But basically when he gets to level 20, he all of a sudden evolves into basically a giant Leviathan who is insanely powerful, which is odd. When a lot of people say, what's the deal with that? Well, it's actually based off of I believe it's a Japanese folktale. I could be wrong.
That part I know.
I could be wrong. Yeah, and it's basically, there's this place that called the Valley of Dragons, I think it was called. Again, I'm sorry if I get any names wrong with this. I'm just going off of what I remember. But yeah, so basically there's this place called Valley of the Dragons, and there's a huge waterfall. And I guess the legend is if a fish is able to jump it, jump over the waterfall, get to the top, it'll be granted a great power. And this little carp decided one day that, you know what, I'm going to jump it. So basically, the little cardfish trains for ages and ages and ages, and then he finally jumps over it. And then when he jumps over it, he then transforms into a giant sea leviathan. Sound familiar to our little Magikarp, huh?
Quite a bit familiar, actually.
Yeah, and also there's even kind of an homage to this little moment too in a game for the N64 called Pokemon Snap, which is basically a game where you take pictures of Pokemon.
Oh, I remember that game.
And there is one level right in the very beginning, there is a Magikarp that is just jumping in and out of the water, and basically I forget what the process is, but it's really long and tiring. It takes almost the entire level, and basically the end result is you knock this little Magikarp into a giant waterfall, and then all of a sudden he bursts out as a Gyarados.
Relating back to the story.
Yeah, basically relating back to the story.
Okay. So essentially they pretty much took the story and made it official in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's pretty straightforward.
Mm.
Although it's still hard to believe that a giant fish becomes a huge-ass serpent, but...
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts on that, Liam?
Nope, I believe everything was pretty well explained there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I do apologize if I got the names wrong of the places and whatnot, but again, this is not my really area of expertise. I just heard the theory, and yeah.
After all, they're only just theories. Game theories.
Again.
But
I have to do it at least once per episode.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Liam, do you have any theories that are interesting to you?
Theories interest me. I always like the good old Kangaskhan and Cubone theory, but that's been beaten to death on the internet, so I will not go over that.
We don't talk about that one. We don't talk about that one. Many butthurt fans will be butthurt.
So, shall we go on to what's the deal with Charizard and its kind of evolutionary line?
Oh, there's so many we can talk about Charizard. Holy cow. The only one that comes to mind for Charizard for me is the reason why he has it has two Mega Evolutions.
Well, that
because
is...
it could be male or female.
Well, that and also the whole bit about... So, let me get this straight. You start as a Charmander, which is a little salamander, which, as I just learned right now, is kind of that Pokemon itself is based off of medieval, I believe it was correct, Liam?
Yeah, in medieval times, salamanders were seen as kind of like devil creatures because they are able to walk in fire for a little while. And because of that, everyone was like, demons! Burn them! But
even though you can't burn them because they're in fire.
Yes, because they secrete certain liquid, like fluid, so they're fire resistant for a little while.
Which would explain the fire typing then.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when it evolves, it basically just becomes somewhat of a bigger salamander. And its final stage, which is probably, I'd say, probably one of the most recognizable Pokemon besides Pikachu, is Charizard, which is basically a big lizard with wings, which a lot of people say, why does he have wings? It makes sense up until the wings. Why does it grow wings? Well, it's fairly simple actually. It's, again, it's a really short one. Again, I'm sorry if I got this wrong. I believe it's another Japanese myth about basically a salamander who believed he could fly, and he eventually believed so much that he grew wings.
Yeah, that was a little harder for me to believe. The Gyarados one I can believe easily, because, well, the entire story's there, but just growing wings out of nowhere, that's a little...
Yeah, again, there may be some I'm missing, but yeah, that's the gist of it.
Anything you can add on that, Liam? Because that's the first time I've pretty much heard about this.
Yeah, I haven't really heard about that one before. To me, that evolution line's like, okay, lizard, dragon, seems fine to me.
Yeah, because, lizards are pretty much dragons without wings.
Yeah, again, I believe I remember hearing something about it being a myth. I could be wrong, but again, so I'm just gonna say this, I'm terribly sorry if I got that wrong.
Well, after all, they're just theories. It's something that you can bring up too. Right? There's the one with Charizard, and people are complaining that Charizard has 2 Mega Evolutions. Why doesn't Venusaur or Blastoise have them? And the only reason that I've been able to find ever is because Charizard was tested on after Mewtwo was created. Mewtwo was given 2 Mega Evolutions, genetically altered, or I should say not altered, but they were built for it. So Charizard probably had the 1 Mega Evolution already, and then they genetically modified it to become another Mega Evolution, giving him or her 2 Mega Stones. And they just haven't done that for Venusaur, Blastoise, Lopunny, Aerodactyl, I can't name any other Mega Evolutions. I'm drawing blanks.
Lopunny, you remembered that one out of the bunch?
Yes, because it's very sexist and very inappropriate for a children's game, I find.
What Jinx isn't?
Well, that's a completely different story.
And what about Gardevoir?
Oh, Gardevoir is a pretty tame one though. Because it pretty much goes from like a tiny dress to a big poofy dress.
Yeah, if you're talking about, never mind, you know what, never mind.
No, we're not going to go to that part of the internet.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, you bring up Blue Bunny, but you mention Blue Bunny, but you don't mention that, the one who pretty much created. Yeah.
The sacred rule?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
you guys are going way off topic. But yeah, again on that topic, if I remember that theory, Connor, but I think you forgot a few notes. Like, with the, as our title of this podcast is Pokemon Origins, I believe within that Pokemon Origins TV show that they had for a while, that was, well, Mewtwo is a genetically created Pokemon in the first place, created by, I think it's Mr. Pokemon himself, I think Mr. Fuji?
Yes.
I could be wrong. Yes. So he created Mewtwo.
Yeah.
And he also, I think, created the Mega Evolution Stones for Mewtwo.
Yeah.
And for Charizard, because
I was just about to bring that up, saying in that little anime special, Mr. Fuji is the one who gives the main character Red the Mega Stone, which does eventually cause Charizard to Mega Evolve, and it turns him into Mega Charizard X. So probably that was the genetically altered one for Charizard, and the Mega Charizard Y was his natural Mega Evolution.
Yes, and that's that could be further clarified because the Mega Charizard Y has that third missing horn from Charmeleon. Like on Charmeleon it's got one single horn, but then on Charizard it has two. And that always bugged the hell out of me because I was like, where's that horn? It can't just split into... It could, but it's unlikely. And then it's like, Mega Evolution. Hey, there's the third horn.
And
now I'm happy.
Yeah, and if Mega Charizard X was also genetically engineered, created, it would also explain the coloration change because regular Charizards are orange.
Yeah.
And when it Mega evolves into Y, it's still orange. However, when it goes into Mega Charizard X, it becomes black.
Yeah. Or like a shiny color.
Yeah, so it would explain that it's also engineered as well.
Okay. So do you think we could possibly get more?
There's always the possibility.
Again, it really depends on what the makers want to do. It's like, do we want to give these guys more Mega Evolutions, or do we just want to keep it with those two? Having more than one. It basically just all depends on whoever the creators, of the game. Because, the people who made the game haven't come out and flat out and stated all this with the two Mega Evolutions. They haven't stated why. This is all just fan theory, per se.
With evidence coming from the TV show, but not the direct TV show from 4Kids, but the other one, which is more Nintendo working with an animation company.
I think
Nintendo and Game Freak
working
with an animation company.
It's more of a tribute. Origins it's more of a tribute to to people who grew up watching the show and you kind of don't want to watch the show anymore, but it's like, oh, we're gonna do it based off of the games you know and love, so you're gonna watch it now, even though we're gonna do 4 episodes.
I think it was 4 or 5.
I believe it was 4.
Okay. So, here's a little bit of a question to go off topic, but not quite. If you could give any Pokemon with a Mega Evolution a secondary one, what would you give it? And give a little detail as to what would differ it from its original.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that too, although I think Connor knowing me he's gonna know exactly what I'm about to say.
Oh, probably Blastoise, just because Blastoise is this.
Or you're just saying what I would probably pick.
Yeah, probably Blastoise is what you'd pick.
Yeah.
Just because I know Blastoise is your favorite Pokemon.
There it is.
And Liam probably gives Swampert a second one.
Not
he loves them
necessarily.
Oh,
Well, I find Mega Swampert to be pretty fitting as it is. Like, sure, you could make some other type, but
make sure it doesn't skip leg day.
Yeah, no, that'd just make it look silly. But actually, if I had to, I'd kind of want maybe a different look for the Latios and Latios Megas.
Yeah.
I feel that they're slightly bland. Like, they look like basically the same. Like,
Oh, they are.
Wouldn't
Pretty sure.
I wouldn't
Pretty sure
necessarily. I'll let you finish.
So I was just gonna say that they pretty much are the same model. I think the only difference is the design on the forehead, which, like the little white speck that's in the middle of their head, I believe changes depending on which one it is.
No, there is a bit of a design difference. Like, one's bigger, the kind of like amount of spikiness on the ears, I think, slightly differs. But yeah, like, if I don't necessarily want like a different version, but like maybe just slight color variation so they don't seem like just carbon copies.
Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily add a new one, you just mainly just change the design?
Yeah, just slightly.
Yeah, well...
But I'm gonna look through all the megas, so...
Yeah, well, when you're doing that, can I just maybe say mine? Because I think Connor...
Alright.
Because Connor probably already knows exactly what I would do, really.
I don't know what you would do, but I know it would be Blastoise for sure.
It'd be Blastoise, and probably what I would do, just in terms of, like, I would somewhat change his design as well a bit. Because since Blastoise is standing on the two legs, on two legs,
yeah.
What I would do is I maybe have him go on all fours, and instead of having like the two cannons on his just two cannons, instead he'd be on like all fours, and he just have one giant cannon instead to like kind of look like more like a tank
coming out of the head hole. So it'd be super powerful,
but
no. Maybe sacrifice its accuracy then?
Well, not per se, like just in terms of design, it basically looked like an actual turtle.
Yeah.
Like standing on all fours, except it would have a giant cannon on its back instead, so it kind of looked like a tank.
Yeah.
And I also changed its typing as well, just slightly.
So it could finally be that water steel that you keep complaining about?
I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it'd be nice if they kind of did that, because it deserves to be water steel more than Piplup's final evolution. It would make more sense on Blastoise.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
And plus it can already learn like a lot of steel moves already, so it's like, just do it already, Game Freak.
Why give him more weaknesses? Because if I'm not mistaken, Empoleon has a lot of weaknesses.
I don't believe it has too many.
It's been so long since I actually used it.
Well, again, it'd be no better than Charizard giving Charizard the Fire Dragon, because he still gains some weaknesses while losing some. So it'd be just the same for Blastoise, he'd lose some, but gain some as well.
True. Well, that's pretty fair, I guess, yeah. Could see that one. So which one would you do, Liam?
You know, looking at most of them, they're all pretty good as they are.
But no, like if you could make a dream second one. So like, say, well for me for instance, I'd like to give Gardevoir and Gallade a proper second one. So that way like, they can show off more of the regal side of their origins. Because they're both based on like, a princess and a knight. Respectively, Gardevoir is based off of like, a princess ninja kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd see her more as a mage, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a mage healer. If we're just going by RPG lingo, role-playing game lingo, I should say.
But like, and Galley is based off of a knight. I'd like to see more, or give each one of them another one that pretty much emphasizes that, okay, she is a mage or a princess, and he is more of a prince or a knight.
So, wait, you wouldn't per se add a new one, you'd maybe just change the design?
No, I'd give them a second new one, because one of them, the one that they already have, the one emphasizes the more mage qualities of Gardevoir, and Gallade has more of the prince feel.
Yeah.
So I'd give them more of the, like, what they're meant to look like, rather than what they're being represented as.
Okay, yeah.
But at the same time, we've also got Gallade, who is, this one's a long stretch, by the way. Gallade was based off of, like, a trapezing knight, because it's always there protecting Gardevoir, and it is very, like, athletic and has a lot of agility going into its design. It's meant to be very fast.
Yeah.
So I just like to see ones that emphasize that a little more.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just put this at a little bit of a break right now. Just give a little messages from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Do you love Pokemon and love remakes? Well, come on down now to patreon.com/Pokemon Coliseum XD, where we are now signing a petition for us to get Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD remakes on the Nintendo Wii U, which feature every Pokemon from Generation 6 backwards. We hope you come and join us. Please sign now.
And welcome back to Games Unplugged. I am your host, Connor, and with me I have Drew and Liam, and as always, we're keeping our last name secret, so that you can't find us. Unless you're super sleuthy, then you may be able to find us.
Or Liam Neeson.
Can't touch this.
God, no, I just got Liam Neeson singing Hammer Time stuck in my head. That's not what I wanted. Okay.
Let's get back on topic here.
I don't know who you are, but you can't touch this.
Okay, so before we broke there, and really broke off topic there, we were talking about Pokemon Mega Evolutions and what we would do to either change, add, or just overall in general, the theories of Pokemon evolution. And right before we went to break, I rudely interrupted Liam and his decision on what he would do for Mega Evolutions. So take it away, Mr. Liam.
Yeah, I pretty much came to the conclusion all the Megas that are already here, pretty much, aside from maybe like coloring changes for Latias and Latios, there really isn't much that I'd want to give a second one to. Just seem pretty fine on their own.
So maybe one that doesn't have one
I
then?
was about to say.
Oh, that's
Flygon.
a whole can of worms that...
No Flygon though, because it's gonna happen.
That's what...
In Generation 8.
8?
Yes.
Just no hope for 7, just straight to 8.
Yep.
Is that when we're gonna get Mega Wailord as well?
I wish.
It'll just be like a floating island in the sky.
No, Mega Wailord's gonna, like, shrink.
No.
It's gonna shrink to the size of a fish.
No, it's gonna be the claw.
The claw?
The claw, yes.
I still think they missed an opportunity with Sharpedo. They should have made it a flying type and had a tornado spinning around underneath it.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Just like I've been thinking about maybe could be your third one.
God, no, please.
We're gonna have topic again.
Okay.
That's a podcast. That's what they do.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you don't have any that you would want to give, like one Pokemon you'd want to give a Mega Evolution to, during the break I did find this crazy list of Pokemon theories which I want to hear your thoughts on. And there's supporting evidence for each one of them too. So, what I will be saying is backed up, but I want to know what you guys have to say about it.
Yeah.
So before that though, is there any Pokemon that you'd want to give one, just one, and if you did, that's the only one you could ever use?
Oh, that's just cool then.
Well, it'd be your dream Mega Evolution. Why would
I
you want
guess.
to?
Oh yeah, because you can only use one Mega per match.
Yeah.
Unless you hack.
But I don't think there is any hack.
Oh, I've seen a hack. Oh. Yeah, no, I think it was a match where I got... Technically, the match had 7 Mega Evolutions.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, because the guy hacked so that, like, his Pokemon were Mega, and then he had Mega Mewtwo Y turn into Mega Mewtwo X.
God.
Did you just catch that Falcon Punch?
Yes.
You're welcome. I was not expecting that at all.
Well, everybody needs a little bit of Falconism in their life.
So we get
Yep.
back on. Can we get back on topic?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just flipping through a bunch of... Okay, just out of the blue because I'm on the page. They should make a Mega Spiritomb.
I can see that, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe it going into the jar?
It's not a jar, it's a rock. As in tomb, that spirit tomb.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Now-
like just pretty much have it like maybe like a spirit. Like imagine like a really I don't know.
Yeah,
some
It's a
spirit,
bigger
like,
rock.
No, like the spirit bursting out of the rock, becoming bigger. Like with like arms and like hunter claws, things like that.
So you suggesting, or maybe the rock breaks in general, and like.
Like maybe more cracks along the rock as he like bursts forth.
Or again, just no rock at all, it's just a full-blown spirit.
No, I think the rock should somewhat stay.
Maybe the rock turns into the Mega Stone. And then the like rock pieces are spinning around it, maybe?
That'd be interesting.
Or maybe the rock becomes like armor, like becomes like some sort of like armor for like the spirit actually.
But then again, we really don't know what the rock is cooking.
Pancakes.
Are they unlimited?
Yes.
God, nobody gets my wrestling reference. That makes me sad.
You're welcome. Okay.
In terms of giving Pokemon Mega Evolutions, I'm gonna say this right out, just flat out right now, despite the fact that this Pokemon is a joke itself, far-fetched.
That could
Mega
be a
far-fetched.
cool ass Mega Evolution.
Give the poor guy, give the poor bird a Mega Evolution.
Make it at least worth something.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because I mean, because Scizor and Slifer, they were already worth something, so it's like, okay, let's boost that up even further now, let's make them really worth something now, and give those two a Mega, give Scizor a Mega Evolution. Oh, well, maybe we should give Pinsir one too, because he's kind of in the same boat. Oh yeah, and maybe Heracross, yeah. So they're out of that kind of somewhat, now they're really, really, like, useful. Now it's like, but here's Farfetch sitting there in the corner.
Don't worry. If it did Like, I just thought up, like, maybe kind of have it like the onion leek becomes a giant bamboo shoot, and it becomes like a flying fighting type, like Halucha, but instead it uses its leek to fight.
Huh. So,
That I could see, yeah.
so basically the leek would become a bow staff?
Yes.
That I could actually see, and then, like...
It's like Icon would, well, it's like art would be it standing on top of it in like a fighting stance.
That could work, actually, but quite a bit. I do see that. I can see that one actually a lot. Especially since Farfetch'd is one of my favorite Pokemon. I'm all down for that, actually.
And yourself, Connor, is there a Pokemon that needs a Mega Evolution?
Well, aside from the Johto starters...
Well, yeah, those are gonna come. We all know
probably, yeah.
every starter's gonna get a Mega.
Gen 4 remakes. That's when we'll get them.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Myself? I'd love to see either a Mega Eevee or a Mega Arcanine.
Oh yeah, Mega Eevee.
Mega Eevee, probably just because it could be so unique in that it could have the ability, what's it called? I think it's either Protein or Color Skin, which changes its typing depending on the move it uses.
Oh, that's Protein.
Yeah, it could be given Protein, so it could be any type any type move it uses, hinting at the fact that depending on the stone or when time of day it evolves or where it evolves into something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd have to adjust Eevee's moveset to fit that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool. And then all it would pretty much do is maybe give it a rainbow color scheme, and like little hints at the different things that make each evolution unique. So like maybe having Vaporeon's neck frill, which comes down into Sylveon's ribbons, and then it has Jolteon's ears, Flareon's tail, the little moon emblem of Umbreon with the gem of Espeon in the center, and then Leafeon's ears and Glaceon's like little hair tuft thing that it has going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
That sounds like you threw them all in a blender.
I was about.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say it to me it looks like someone started designing something and then couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I think if they should do that, they should instead make a normal type Eevee evolution and then give it a Mega.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, with the rainbow, instead, like, it could still look like the Eevee, but, like, its color would slowly change. Like, that rainbow pattern would, like, pulse from, like, let's say its fluff of, like, its mane, like, the puffy white parts would, like, be, like, rainbow and, like, pulse with all the colors.
Yeah, or like the Eevee maybe is, like, constantly changing colors. Like the Mega Evolution constantly changing colors.
Actually, one that I was thinking is maybe, like, depending on the color it pulsates, it starts to change into that Eevee evolution. Kind of, so once it's like the blue color, it changes into Vaporeon. Then when it's a lighter blue, it changes into Glaceon. And so on, right?
Yeah.
See, I could see that kind of working.
Yeah.
Okay. So now are you guys ready to hear some ridiculous theories?
Sure.
Alright, this one I've already told you guys several times, but once again, for the audience, Aerodactyls are prehistoric Zubats. Let the groans commence. Okay.
Okay, that's no, wait. Okay.
Hold up. Use Max Repel.
Okay, obviously they don't like this one, guys and gals. Okay, so how this theory works is that essentially Zubats evolved from Aerodactyl, and the proof is kind of there, in that, like animals in the real world, they start to adapt to their surroundings, and essentially that's what happened with Zubat from Aerodactyl. Aerodactyls went extinct, and the ones that remained had later evolved into Zubats, which then go down their family tree. And now thinking about it, there's a little more, like, from going from Zubat to Golbat and to Crobat, I can see it a little more and more, but it's still really ridiculous.
It's kind of, no pun intended, far-fetched.
But
You know, just thinking about that,
Really, it's like,
if you replace
pretty out there.
the Zubat line with the Noivern line, that could make more sense.
and Noivern, I'm driving. Oh no, Noivern. Okay, now
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
don't worry, I drew a blank there too for a second.
Alright. Actually, now thinking about that, I could see the Aerodactyl one coming from that,
Yeah.
just because of the way.
Yeah, I can see more of that. I can see more Aerodactyls being prehistoric. Noverns, that I could see more than the Zubats.
Yeah. Like, even if you look at certain aspects,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
2 legs, the slightly spaded tail, and the hands on the arms.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's like really the biggest thing as to why it's kind of far-fetched for the Zubats. Just because the Zubat line, just because of, you know, like at no point ever in that evolutionary line with the Zubat are there anything that will resemble hands, but with the Noivern, no, it's there.
Yeah, I can see that one now. Like, even just looking at it here, like, I see it quite a bit more, especially from the final evolution.
Oh, plus with in X with Generation 6 as well with the super training.
Yeah.
I believe it is for speed, since for all the other stats they kind of follow like an evolutionary line, but for some strange reason it goes on Noivern's first form, which I forget the name of. For level 1.
Yeah, I don't quite remember.
Yeah, but for Super it goes level 1, and then level 2 is Aerodactyl, and level 3 is Noivern.
We might have just made a theory, guys.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that too.
Oh my god.
You're welcome, Internet. You heard it here first.
God. I was just expected to talk about theories, not make our own.
Yeah, I know.
Boom.
But that's the whole point about theories, is maybe making your own. Like, I'm pretty sure we made our own in the last episode that we just did too.
Oh, yeah.
With Smash Brothers being Sakurai's baby love child.
Well, again, that one was already kind of somewhat gone into, but again, I think what different is what I saw Taboo as with that whole theory.
Yeah. Which, don't give me spoilers in case nobody heard it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not.
They can go back and watch that last episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Now to get back on topic here. Number 6. This one is a little more believable, and I like this one a lot. Gengars are dead Clefables, although I'd probably change the dead to a little more like maybe Clefable's shadow, if anything.
Yeah.
Just to keep the nice friendly nature of Pokemon in there. Even though there are those little bit of dark turns.
We eat Slowpoke tails. Brought to you by Team Rocket.
Genocide, brought to you by Team Flare.
Okay, maybe it isn't that kid friendly.
New World Order from every team.
Oh no. I want to be the only person in this world who owns Pokemon. Team Plasma.
I'm not even gonna bring up Team Plasma. That's just ridiculous. I liked how PETA made fun of that one, but because it was like, wait, PETA, this is pretty much you.
Yeah.
This is you in the game.
Can I just say this right now? Every single gamer saw through PETA the instant they made that game. They just saw right through it.
And now we still have Smash Brothers with our cute and friendly critters. They obviously didn't do a good job.
Nope.
Okay, so this Clefable and Gengar one, essentially the design of Gengar and Clefable are so close that pretty much they believe that they are one and the same, or at least related in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the designs there.
And then there's also the Ghastlies are dead cloisters.
Well, that's just because it's the shape.
Yeah, it's the shape and the shading and the coloration of it and whatnot.
And then the Haunters are possessed Pokeballs. Which, that one's a little more ridiculous.
You
That
meant
one's...
to say Voltorbs are haunted Pokeballs. You said Haunter was a...
Yeah.
Okay, it's late. Okay? Don't make fun of me.
You meant to say that a Pokeball haunted by a Haunter becomes a Voltorb.
Yes, thank you for completely correcting me.
Though it kind of doesn't make sense, because if they're possessed, so then does that mean they evolve while they're still possessed?
It could just mean the poor Haunter went into a non-registered trainer's Pokeball and got stuck. And it's like, oh, booey. It just has to live there for the rest of its life.
And hello. Yeah, that one's kind of ridiculous, and it's like, there's not too much really to back it.
Well, if you take that it went into this Pokeball and got stuck, because in the games, all the items you find are in Pokeballs.
Yeah.
So what's to say you couldn't put a Pokeball in a Pokeball?
Yeah.
Considering you can find Pokeballs in Pokeballs, I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate right there.
Yeah, I think that's something that they need to change in later games, is that like, I understand why you did that in like the original one, but it's like, we've got colors, okay, so can you like, I don't know, put them in like treasure chests now or something?
But then it'd be too much of an RPG.
Yeah.
Or have people stop leaving all their Pokeballs and Ultra Balls lying around everywhere?
No, that's just common courtesy.
Yeah. No wonder all the dads left. Their kids were leaving everything everywhere.
God, it's super messy. Okay, this one I kept a little bit of a secret from you guys. I didn't want to say too much, because I wanted a genuine reaction out of this.
Okay.
The bulbs that are on Bulbasaur's back are Oddishes. Now, here is the little story which goes along with it to back this up. Bulbasaurs are known to have a strange seed that is planted into its back upon birth. The plant then sprouts from the Pokemon. Clearly, this isn't a regular seed, as it becomes part of the Pokemon. And what Pokemon do we know is actually a bulb? Oddish are plants, specifically the bulb of a plant.
Yeah, that's kind of morbid to think about, like, because that means like somewhere along the line somebody would have had to cut that, like the bulb on Bulbasaur would have been cut off.
The Pokemon do die, so they probably took it like once it was dead and did research on it, which is still a morbid thing to think about. But
yeah, like no matter what happens, this is pretty morbid.
yeah.
But I mean, it makes kind of sense, and maybe like the Bulbasaurs that are able to evolve into like Ivysaurs and Venusaurs are the ones whose Odysseus sadly die while they're still attached.
On here, because when the Bulbasaur evolves, the bud on its back grows in different ways, and respectively, they say like when it evolves into Ivysaur, it now has more of an open bulb, whereas Gloom, which is the next evolved form of Oddish, is more of a poisonous plant, while Ivysaur's is more flourishing. And same with Venusaur, it's a more flourished plant, while Vileplume is an even worse plant. So it does kind of make sense there, doesn't it? That through the help of a Bulbasaur, an Oddish technically grows to be a better plant, but at the same time it's still a little morbid thinking that that bud on a Bulbasaur's back is a second Pokemon.
Yeah, that's... Again, it's... I can see it, and at the same time, it's one of those things where I can see it, I just don't want to believe it because it's too morbid to think about.
I can't really see it.
Again, I can kind of see it, it's just, the problem is again, it's so what's on a Venus, what's on an Ivysaur, then is it still an Oddish? Or what? It goes into that.
It evolves with it.
So then it comes as then at what point does the Oddish become detached from the Bulbasaur? At what point does that
But it doesn't,
happen?
because an Oddish is a bulb. So it probably is like maybe a dying Oddish, which is inserted into Bulbasaur.
And that's pretty morbid.
Essentially, Bulbasaur seems like kind of a lifeline for it.
Yeah, well, kind of weird to think about it, but yeah.
Okay, now we've got one here which is a little more believable than that one, just because of the Pokemon which was created from this other one, and that's Dittos are failed copies of Mew, or failed clones of Mew, and just solely from the existence of Mewtwo, and the fact that Mewtwo is a genetically created version of Mew. Essentially, it is the child of Mew. But Ditto isn't considered the failed attempts at creating another Mew. And the things that make this believable are the fact that both Mew and Ditto no transform. The color of Ditto resembles the dark purple tone of Mewtwo, which was given to differ it from Mew. And the fact that there's so many Ditto out in the world, and that we know that they're genetically modified Pokemon.
Yeah, and also to further boost that up as well, in Pokemon Red, Blue, Gen 1 Pokemon games, the Pokemon Mansion, where Mewtwo was said to have been created as well. In the basement, there is one section of the basement where the only Pokemon you'll encounter are Ditto.
Yeah.
And this is the place where they study Mew and, basically successfully made Mewtwo, so they probably like, maybe we can make another Mew clone, and instead, after many failed attempts, we kept getting Ditto.
Okay. I mean, this one's very believable. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, I'd believe it.
Okay, so not too much on that one to make it really special, but still there.
Yeah.
Alright, the final one, and I know Liam has quite a bit to say on this because he brought it up earlier. Cubone is an orphaned baby Kangaskhan. So, the topic behind this one, or the origin of this theory, is the fact that Kangaskhan carries a little baby Kangaskhan in its pouch. And Cubone wears the skull of its dead mother on its head, basically in memory of its mother. Now, the thing that makes this so believable is the fact that a baby Kangaskhan looks a lot like a Cubone. And Kangaskhan itself has a very similar color scheme to that of a Cubone, having the dark main body with a lighter shaded belly.
And also, again, the bone that the helmet, I should say, that a Cubone has, the skull helmet, also somewhat resembles a Kangaskhan as well.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Slightly. Again, this kind of goes back to that oddish thing where it's like, it's pretty morbid to the point where I don't want to believe it, yet at the same time, this is one where it's morbid, but unfortunately it's very, very believable, just because of the nature of the Pokemon itself.
Yeah. And there's also if you guys don't know, spoilers from, original games, there's a glitch Pokemon named Missingno that evolves into Kangaskhan. And the further backing up of a Cubone becoming, or being from a Kangaskhan is said Missingno, because it evolves into Kangaskhan. Because they had a bunch of Pokemon, but not all of them went in, and then they were like, we gotta put these guys somewhere. Let's throw them in this space, right here.
Yeah,
Not expecting anybody to find them.
And you mentioned glitches as well. There's also a glitch, and you say how they made a lot more Pokemon, they had like no place to put them in reality, or they just couldn't finish them in time. Apparently through glitches you can actually get some Pokemon from Gen 2 into Gen 1 games, so you can get Pokemon from Gold, Crystal, and Silver and put them in your old Red, Blue, and Yellow cartridges.
Well, then it is backed up, considering that the original Pokemon games, Red, Blue, and Yellow, and Green, they actually had, I think it was 162 Pokemon were supposed to be in the game, including Pokemon from Gen 2, like Scyther's evolution for Scizor was supposed to be in the game. We were also supposed to have Azumarill, Marill, I think we were also supposed to have Mareep and Ampharos.
Basically, the Pokemon you saw, those new Pokemon that you saw in Pokemon the first movie, and maybe Pokemon 2000?
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, because they have a special, these are also Pokemon that you could put in there. They are also, I believe the name is called Johto Guard Pokemon, I believe.
That I never heard of.
No, it's the name that it's like the technical term that they gave the Pokemon that you could put back into Gen 1, I believe.
It's interesting, like, hearing about things that happened in games, or were supposed to happen, and then didn't actually happen. Like, for instance, not having those Pokemon present in the original 150.
Well, yeah, they're apparently they're coded in, they're just not present, apparently.
Yeah.
But again, through glitches, you can literally put them back in there. Well, I think though they show up like they show up like looking like Missingno in terms of it's like what the heck is this thing I'm looking at?
Yep. But yeah, there's lots of glitch Pokemon. And Pokemon that were supposed to be in certain gens, like the Shellos and Gastrodon?
Yeah.
Those guys they actually still have the sound in the 3rd gen
Huh.
for them. Yeah, they were. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so was that the number 1? Or
Yeah, that was the very last one.
of course it was.
The list had a couple more of them, but we already covered them. Like, there was the Voltorb is a Haunter,
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure we didn't want to go over that again.
No. Were like any more that we already discussed, such as like Magic Harbor and
I think we pretty much covered every single one that we could think of.
well, and then there's just general theory about, and then there's just somewhat of a general theory about Pokemon itself, about like how like that world of Pokemon
Oh, is the
is actually
nuclear war?
Yeah, is actually Earth after a nuclear war, and like exploded, because like you see like very few actual straight like dogs or straight birds. They're like always like Arcanines or Puchianas. You see those. You don't see you would see like a dog in like a Pokemon, but it would be like you'd be like a Growlithe or something. It would be just like a straight dog.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little more proven to the fact that, like, in Generation 1 and Generation 6, they do mention, like, a war, which in Gen 1 they mention a war where, like, all the fathers have essentially gone to war or went to war, and now you're playing in a post-war Pokemon world where a lot of, like, male figures, like, fatherly male figures don't exist, and the ones that do are like either too old to be considered a father or are gym leaders. Like Lieutenant Surge, who also backs up the theory about the war and the fact that the Pokemon he's using, like when you face him, he says that they saved him during the war.
Oh yeah.
So there is evidence behind that.
Yeah. And,
quite a bit.
Yeah, and also you mentioned the missing father thing. How there's others. I believe in Gen 6. I could be here. I'm pretty sure I heard from somewhere. I could just be hearing it wrong, but apparently you do have a father. It's just he had to work during the time you were moving or something.
Yeah.
So he couldn't make it. Like he couldn't make it to the new house straight away.
Mm-hmm.
But he was on the way or something like that.
Yeah.
So son, what happened when you moved? So what happened in your new house? Oh, I saved the world and became the Pokemon champion. Well, I'm going back to work.
Any thoughts on that one, Liam?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything for this episode tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you again, audience, for tuning in to Games Unplugged. And unless these lovely gentlemen have any other thoughts, we will see you next time.
Well, we're going to talk about the end. Just since we were talking about Mega Evolutions, we never touched on the 2 Primal Evolutions.
Oh, yes.
And how they are Alpha and Omega, respectively. Do either of you know what that references?
The beginning and the end.
Yes. And as you know, Kyogre gets the Alpha, as in the beginning, which could also, you could add to, he comes from the ocean, and as they say, all life began in the sea.
Yeah.
And then Groudon's just fire and brimstone, so the end times, everything blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think, again I will say, I don't think they need to give, I don't think they should give, Legendaries Mega Evolutions.
Yes, they should.
No one says instead of Mega Evolutions, they should give them Primal Reversals instead.
Yeah. Well, at least give Mew a Primal, because Mewtwo has Mega Evolutions, and since Mew is like the second Pokemon ever made. It only deserves a primal.
Well, again, I'm saying, like, don't give, like, every legendary. Maybe just give the ones that, like, it would make sense to give. So, like, you know, like, it makes sense to maybe give Mew, as you said, one of those.
Primal.
Yeah, primal.
Because, I mean, the design of Mew, and it's a little gross thinking about it, but Mew is essentially a fetus.
Yeah.
So, pretty much giving it a primal, reverting it into maybe, like, not a fetus state, but more of a fetus design.
Yeah.
Would kind of make sense.
Yeah, bringing it back, and yeah, I was saying, like, don't give all the legendaries, but I'm saying give some, so, like, you know, Mew, Arceus, and maybe the main legendaries from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, maybe give those revisions.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd like to see, like, I was just slightly disappointed with Kyurem just getting 2 different forms. I kind of wanted him to have just, like, a singular, because as they state, he is the husk of what was the one dragon that was Zekrom and Reshiram together.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool if they just made, like, a mixture of the two, but with, like, the ice still.
Yeah. Yeah, again, don't give all legendaries, but, like, just do something to the legendaries, to some of the legendaries now, to maybe bring them, maybe kind of sort of close the gap between Rhinon and Kyogre now, because of those. Because, I haven't played them yet, so I have no clue why Rayquaza can Mega Evolve.
Because he's a badass.
Besides that,
You don't need a Mega Stone, he just evolves.
well, he uses he uses a move in Mega Evolve. I don't understand the game's specific reason why they do that. Why it's a Mega Evolution.
Because who else is going to put Kyogre and Groudon in their place?
And plus, how else are you supposed to take care of Deoxys?
Yeah, but you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because like Ho-Ho and Lugia, do they need any sort of primal forms? No, they don't.
I could maybe see one out of the 3 dogs, Entei, Suicune, and Raikou.
But then again, that's the theory which I just thought we didn't touch on.
Yeah, the one where Entei, Suicune, and Raikou are the 3 original Eevees: Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon.
Yeah, because I guess we might as well go into this at the end because it's kind of a bit late. But it's an old theory, but it's an old but goodie.
Yeah. So, in case anybody doesn't know, this theory goes on from Generation 2, the Johto region. There was a tower which I think was the Golden Tower. I think is what it was called.
I forget, but basically, again, it burned down and a lot of Pokemon died.
No, a lot of Pokemon made it out, but it was only 3 Pokemon that died, which then Ho-Oh came and resurrected them, but resurrected them in like the purest of states that he could be in, which resulted them being these 3 legendary Pokemon.
Because I think Jolteon and Flareon and Vaporeon, I think the reason why they died in the tower burning is because they were the ones who basically made sure that everybody was out before they escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they unfortunately perished, and Ho-Ho portraying the Phoenix motif that they're obviously going for, resurrected again in forms of Entei, Suicune, and Raikou, just to say, you earned this, guys.
Any thoughts on this one, Liam?
Aside from Ho gets 3 nice, thankful guardians, and Lugia gets 3 that hate his guts.
Well,
wait, which 3 did Lugia get?
Well, he's kind of the master of
Well,
Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, and they pretty much are like, we do not like you.
No, it wasn't the fact that it was the fact is that somebody did the one thing you do not do.
And disrupt the islands.
No, you do not disturb the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning.
Because then the whole world will turn to ash. Ketchup.
God, Pokemon movie plot.
So stupid. Like, hearing it when you're younger, yeah, it's kinda, okay, this is pretty cool.
No, it still sounded stupid as a kid. It's like, really? Ash? What the heck's he done?
When you're super young, you don't really kind of get that until they explain it to you near the end of the movie. But then, like, as an adult, as soon as you hear it for the first time, after, like, a long time, it's like, oh god.
And it's just like, believe it or not, this is an actual episode of the Pokemon TV show. There was an actual episode with Lugia and Baby Lugia.
Yeah, because each area technically has their own version of a legendary, so there is a Entei, Suicune, and Raikou in its own region.
Hold up. No, that's not the problem I had with the episode. That wasn't the problem I had with the episode. And I believe this was the last episode of the anime I ever watched, and that was like probably 10 years ago-ish. I watched this, because this is when I said, like, I'm done with this show now. It wasn't because it was Baby Lugia. It was a Lugia mother and a Baby Lugia. No, you know what ticked me off?
The fact that Ash didn't remember?
The fact is that nobody mentioned him seeing this Pokemon before. This is after.
No, it's before. It's before the movie.
No, it was after the movie. This episode aired after the movie.
See, I'm pretty sure it was before.
No, it was after. It was after, and that's what ticked me off. It was like, if it was Brock saying, "What are those?" and somebody explaining that what they are, that would make sense. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It was everybody who saw Lugia before was saying, "Wow, what are those? I've never seen them before."
Unless the memories were erased.
But then they never said the memories were erased.
Mewtwo just after every movie. I'm just gonna assume after every movie, Mewtwo just erases their minds.
Seems logical.
Something important happened. Boop. Who the hell are you? Oh crap! I should have poked you in the back of the head. Okay, just turn around, and then he flies away. Because I'm pretty sure they never remember anything from the movies. Unless it's in another movie. It's pretty much like any other anime. The movies don't count. Unless they're made by the actual people.
Or they're meant to serve as kind of the end of the anime itself.
Yeah.
The only one that I do know that they always remember is Mewtwo. Because first movie, they met him. Then memory was erased. Then when it was Mewtwo Strikes Back, they didn't remember Mewtwo. The only one that did was Meowth that remembered him. And then they remembered Mewtwo. Then in the latest movie that Mewtwo was in, the Genesex movie, they do remember Mewtwo. But this is a different Mewtwo that they're talking about?
Well,
this is a female.
Well, also I need to correct you. Mewtwo Strikes Back was the first Pokemon movie. Mewtwo Returns is one, because at the end of Mewtwo Strikes Back, which is the first one, he erases the minds, but then in Mewtwo Returns, which is the second one with Mewtwo, the exact same Mewtwo, he decides, you know what, I'm not going to erase their minds this time.
Yeah.
I'm just correcting you.
Okay, I think we should end it here before we bring up anything else Pokemon related.
Because I'm pretty sure we could go on for like another hour at least. And I'm pretty sure we don't need that at 11:40 in the evening. But we can always save it for a second episode.
I advise people, don't do this stuff at like late at night.
We'll be sure to make this a like 12 in the afternoon thing next time.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are complaining about. I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, I am too.
And I would be perfectly fine, but I still have school the next morning.
There you go, guys. Look for a Connor that goes to school.
Yes, I'm getting an education. Look good, well, it's done me.
Talking about Pokemon with 2 other people.
Some days I love it. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on this lovely podcast. As, again, I am your host, Connor, and these 2 lovely gentlemen have assisted me this evening, and I hope to have them back in the future to help with some other game theories. Any last remarks?
Yes. Only one.
That was quite a pause.
Yes.
Yes!
Only one. Charizard is not the best starter Pokemon ever. He can be trumped by Blastoise. Blastoise can be trumped by Venusaur. It's an evolutionary circle. It's not an evolutionary circle. It's a weakness triangle with all the starter Pokemon. There is no clear-cut best starter Pokemon. That is all.
And Liam?
Now remember, kids, don't do drugs. Let professionals do them.
God.
Hey, it's true.
And stay in school.
Yes,
Your
but then you see
vegetables.
what happens. You see what happens when you don't go to school.
But you're talking about you go to school too.
Yeah, I know, I'm not referring to myself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about both of you.
Oh, I'm saying is you're here talking with
Whoa,
us.
shots fired.
I'm saying is you're sitting here talking to us about this stuff as well.
Yeah, well,
Hey, I'm a mediator.
So you're being a mediator. You went up online and started to search some of this stuff up as well.
Hey, fair enough.
how's that education doing for you then?
Yeah.
Obviously goodly. Alright. Adios amigos, and until next time, take it easy.